I was able to go on this trip as one of the adult leaders, and I was really blessed by everywhere that we went. But I want to talk to you guys today about the orphanage we went to on Monday afternoon. You saw the video with Curtis telling you about the orphanage, and you saw the wood blocks that these children slept on, and you saw the big plate of food that they were eating was the biggest meal they had had in like 3 or 4 days. And that was provided, Justin was able to provide that for them. And he said that they turned kids away because the other kids in the area were trying to come up to the orphanage because they saw that we had food. And the lady from the orphanage had to tell them, no, this is only for the kids in the orphanage. And it was just really sad to see these kids so hungry, and we couldn't do anything to help them. It just really breaks my heart to see these children hurting. And when you go to a place like this, you see everyone hurting, but then you go to an orphanage and see that they absolutely have nothing. They don't have food, they don't have clean clothes, and they don't have a mom or a dad. So they literally have nothing, and you just can't do, you can only do what you can. And so that was one of the areas that really broke my heart, was for these kids. On Thursday, we were able to go to up with Chuck up the mountain, and they were doing the medical clinic like they had talked about, and we were doing the VBS with the kids up front. And I turned around. I was walking around with Dorothy's camera for a little while, and I was taking pictures for her because she was doing her thing as a nurse. And I saw Sarah Hamilton sitting with this little baby. And I was like, oh, that's the cutest baby I've ever seen. And so I walked over to her and asked if I could hold him. And I just held on to him for a long time. And I looked at Sarah and I told her, I said, this is the easiest thing that I've done here, because this baby doesn't talk. This baby doesn't know that I'm speaking English. So there was absolutely no worry of a language barrier there. All these babies needed was love. And I was holding this baby for a long time, and I kept hearing shouting behind me. And so I turned around, and I saw this mom, and Sarah was like, the sister was sitting next to Sarah, and she said, that's their mom. And so I turned around, and I walked towards the mom, and I was trying to hand her baby because that's what I thought she wanted. And she didn't. She pulled her arms back like this, and I looked over at Sarah, and I was like, what do I do? And so then I looked back at the mom, and she is pointing towards the opening of the tent where this church is. She's pointing, and she's saying, go, 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 go. And that, it broke my heart, because this mom, she wanted something so great for this baby, and she knew that she couldn't provide for it. And she saw us being there loving this baby, and she wanted us to take care of it for her. And so I knew that I couldn't take it, even though I would have, even if I could. So I turned back around, and I went and sat with Sarah again, and we were loving on this baby, and then she called me over again because it was their turn in the medical line. And she took the baby, and it just really broke my heart, because this little baby has no clue what's going on around it. It has no clue of the life that it's going to grow up with. And so that baby just really is on my heart today. And I love that baby. The last thing I wanted to share with you was, after that afternoon, we went hut to hut evangelizing, while some of the other kids and adults stayed with the medical team, or they stayed to play with the children. And Ashley Colvard and I walked up to this lady, and with our interpreter, and we asked if she knew Jesus, and she said, I know who Jesus is, but I do not want to accept him. And you go on trips like this thinking, oh, okay, we're going to go and we're going to tell people about Jesus, and they're going to be like, yay, we want to accept Jesus right now. But it's not like that. And sometimes it is, but in this case it wasn't. She said, no, I don't want to accept Jesus. And so we were like, what do we do? And so we asked if we could pray for her, and she did allow us to do that. And so we prayed for her, and she had 5 little kids around her, a baby on her hip, and she was pregnant. So she had all of these kids that could be raised knowing Jesus, but we can still pray that God will change her heart. And there's a church just down the street in both directions, so hopefully that her neighbors and her people around her will be able to talk to her and help her to come to know God, because it just breaks my heart knowing that she flat out said, I don't want to know who Jesus is. So I just ask that you keep her in your prayers. I don't remember her name because they all speak very quietly, and it was a different name. So just please keep her in your prayers. Thank you.